Alright, so you guys enjoyed the 28 useless stat video, so here we go, 30 useless fire type stats. Why fire out of all the types? Because I feel like it. Just know I am only taking into account the regular and regional forms. Alternate forms or megas are not considered when doing the calculation for the stats, unless stated otherwise. Anyways, let's just start. Talonflame is the only fire type to allocate 25% or more of all its base stat into speed. Blacephalon is the only fire type to not allocate at least 1/3 of all its base stat into bulk categories. Rounded to the nearest ones, the average base stat for fire type Pokemon is 449, yet there isn't a single fire type whose base stat are within double digit of this amount. When looking at mono fire types, there are 5 Pokemon whose attack stat is at least 1.5 times or more than their special attack stat. All 5 are either from the Darumaka or Scorbunny evolution line. There is only one fire type whose defense is at least double or more of its special defense or vice versa. That Pokemon is Torkoal, whose defense is double its special defense. Darumaka and Darmanitan both allocates at least 50% or more of all their stat into either HP or attack. They are the only fire types to allocate half or more of their base stat to any 2 stat category. The most occurring base stat by fire type is 534 with 5 Pokemon. All 5 of these Pokemon are starters. If special attack and special defense were removed, only Slugma fails to reach a base stat total of at least 150. There exist 33 Pokemon who are fire types with a base stat of 500 below with a speed of at least 60 or higher. None of them are from the Hoenn region. Charcadet is the only fire type whose base stat increases by more than double upon evolving. The average base stat for fire types rounded at the nearest 10th are as follows. Only Quilava and Charmeleon have a stat distribution that are within 17.5 of each category. There are 29 fire type Pokemon with a special attack value of 100 or higher. Galar is the only region to not release a fire type with this condition. There are 7 fire types that allocate 20% or more of all their base stat into health. 5 of them came from the Unova region. There are 16 mono fire types with a base stat total of 400 or lower. The Pokemon with the lowest and highest speed both came from the Johto region. Colossal is the only fire type who has a speed stat of 60 or lower with a triple digit HP value. The bulkiest fire type in terms of totality is Ho-Oh with 350. Sinnoh added the least amount of fire types with only 5. Hoenn has the lowest concentration of newly introduced fire type with only 4.5% of Pokemon released having the fire type. There are 50 dual fire type Pokemons, the most common dual typing being fire and ghost with 8. The amount of fire, ghost, fire fighting, fire flying, and fire rock Pokemon is equal to fire and every other combination combined. There are 64 Pokemons with a speed stat of 60 or higher. Every region released 4 up Pokemon with this feat except Hoenn, who only did it once. Likewise, Sinnoh is the only region to not release a fire Pokemon with a speed stat of 60 or lower. Infernape and Blacephalon are the only 2 fire types to have over 100 value in all offensive categories. There are 2 Pokemon whose offensive value are more than their bulk value plus 100. Both came from the Alola region. Sinnoh is the only region to not release a fire type who has more physical attack than special attack. Galar is the only region to not release a fire type who has more special attack than physical attack. Sizzlipede is the only fire type that has never been able to learn Flamethrower. Gouging Fire is the only final form fire type that is unable to learn Will-O-Wisp. Colossal is the only fire type with a total bulk of 300 or higher and a bulk allocation of at least 55%. This is the average stat allocation of all fire types. Arcanine's stat allocation is the only one amongst fire types that doesn't differentiate more than 2 percentage points of any average stat allocation. And just for comparison, Darmanitan is the only fire Pokemon who isn't within 3 percentage point of any average stat allocation. Hopefully these stats I dug up weren't too nonsensical, and if they were, then it just be like that. Anyways, what type do you guys want to see next? And yeah, that's about it.